this is Crystal from the polyfragmented system, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between having a normal internal monologue and having a DID internal monologue. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about a normal internal dialogue. So, according to healthline.com, the internal dialogue or the inner voice is a result of certain brain mechanisms that cause you to hear yourself talk in your head while not actually speaking and forming sounds. While an internal monologue is a common occurrence, not everyone experiences it. There is a lot that researchers have to uncover about why some people frequently hear an inner voice and what it means. So, inner voices are usually something that help you, like for example, when you have a presentation. So these usually form in childhood. So it's usually referred to as private speech. So basically what happens is the children learn to engage with themselves independently. Like when they are trying to figure out a problem, they learn to talk to themselves and talk it out, and that helps them think better. So of course talking to yourself can help with memory and stuff like that, and that's pretty normal. Not everyone has internal monologue. Only some people have it, which of course it would develop in childhood, but it's pretty normal to have it. It helps with a lot of normal things like presentations, things that would cause stress, problem solving, stuff like that. Stuff that's normal. So next we're going to talk about why we have these internal monologues. Alright, so I'm going to read another excerpt from healthline.com, which says, internal monologue is thought to be partially controlled by corollary discharge, a type of brain signal. It helps you distinguish between different types of sensory experiences, such as those that are created internally or externally. Even if you don't necessarily hear an inner voice, everyone experiences corollary discharge to some degree. It is partially relevant to your auditory system in the way you process hearing speech. Corollary discharge helps explain why your own voice sounds one way when you speak out loud, but might sound different when on a recording or to other people. An inner monologue can help you hear your own voice while canceling out other external stimuli. It can also help you organize your thoughts during times you can't speak out loud. You might ask yourself questions and work through the answers as a form of problem solving. So again, this is basically explaining how it works, and basically talking to yourself is related to corollary discharge, a brain mechanism, and it can help you with a lot of things. It can help you, like, again, with interviews, problem solving. These are probably the most common reasons that we have these internal dialogues. Okay, so let's actually take a moment to talk about some examples of internal monologue. So the most common form is verbal, when you essentially talk to yourself, or you may talk to yourself about issues that are on your mind, or make internal lists in order to help remember and stuff. Also, there is inner speech, which helps memory, of course, and you could also talk to yourself when you're preparing like a speech or a presentation. So, for example, if you're in English and you have to present to your entire class, you're going to want to make sure that you can pronounce anything, and that you can, you're giving yourself criticism on what you're talking about, and you're making sure that you sound good and that you are prepared. And so you're just trying to make sure that you have the preparation, you have the practice at hand for you to give that presentation. And that's basically why you're using that form of inner monologue, because you're trying to talk to yourself, give yourself, criticize yourself and help yourself understand, like, where am I? It can also come into form of as a conversation with yourself. Like if you're trying to solve a problem, you could be talking to yourself and playing two different sides of the problem, or two different sides of the conversation. So this is still pretty normal. When it comes to DID, you can either actually hear the voice or you can hear the person's thoughts. These are kind of similar but kind of different. So when you hear the voice of the alter, it'll be like directly in their voice, the voice that they identify with. But you can also hear their thoughts. So this could also just be thoughts that would sound like they're in your own voice, but they aren't your own thoughts. So for example, when you are hearing thoughts, it's kind of like jumping into a pool of water and having someone, like, I don't know, make a sound underwater, and you can hear that sound, but like it's kind of distorted, but you can still hear what they're saying. That's kind of how it is for me. I know that it's really shocking when I do hear them, because it's kind of like, oh my god, like that's like, that was not me. That was not me, because you know that it's not you. It's someone completely distinct. Like for me, it's often been males that have been talking to me or have been having a conversation with someone else, and I've like heard them, or like someone singing, which I obviously was not singing, but like it was always that feeling of being in a pool and like hearing some noise that was distorted. But yeah, but when it comes to thoughts, they can actually present themselves as your own, which is when it gets difficult, because the main way to tell if these are just you is when you have, like, for example, when you have an issue, right, and you usually separate yourself into small little parts, like 2 parts, usually 2-3 parts, maybe max. You'll separate yourself into those 3 parts to figure out the solution to a problem. For example, you have these 3 people that are arguing with you and stuff, and trying to help you. But when you have people who are arguing with you and they all each have different perspectives, they all consistently have different perspectives, and they hold certain beliefs, and they have their own ideas that are different from yours, and you're arguing with them, and you have like 5 different people, 5 or more different people who are just yelling over each other and like trying to get you to like listen to them, but you can barely even tell what's going on. Like, that's when you know that this isn't normal. Like my friend, for example, she will separate herself into 2-3 different voices when she has a problem, and someone will criticize her, someone will just people will be criticizing her, and I know that's bad already, but she says that this is how she experiences it, how she's the one that is being criticized, and there are these people who are criticizing her as well and stuff, but it doesn't really go from there. But usually when, for example, when I have a breakdown, when I'm very stressed about something and I do something wrong that no one really likes in my system, I have a sudden rush of just arguing, people sympathizing, people trying to explain the situation better to others, people trying to do all of this and stuff. But it's usually, like, for me, it's in my voice. Like, well, it's probably not in my voice, but it just registers to me as in my voice. So I'm just gonna assume it's in my voice. And these people will all be arguing from different perspectives. There'll be like 2 or 3 people who are just angry. There'll be like 2 people who are upset. There'll be like 1 person who's just trying to reason and trying to be on my side and protect me. And then there's me who's just like watching all of this happen. And then there'll be arguments where I can't even tell what anyone's saying because everyone's just yelling over each other. Like, the complexity that you feel when it comes to this, when you can't even tell, like, that's not normal. You have, like, if you, I know this is like a very common thing, but Usually when you have these like little arguments with yourself, you already know what you're going to say. You know, you already know what the next step is. But when this stuff happens, when you have these little issues that no one really agrees on, you have people who are saying things completely unexpected, which is the most important part. Like, things that are completely unexpected. Like, for example, I was outside, I was cleaning the fridge, and I was scrubbing off like a bunch of stuff, and I was just like, this is disgusting, and I hate this. I would have never thought of this, but someone just said, smell your hand, and I was just like, no. And I was like, no, that's such a bad idea. And I was caught off guard because I was just like, I would have never thought that. That's not the first thing that would have come to my mind at all. And stuff like, for example, I wanted to eat breakfast, and out of nowhere someone said, I don't want to eat. And I'm just here sitting there just like, what? Well, I want to eat, like I really do want to eat, but someone just said they don't want to eat. But that was obviously not me, because I want to eat. Like, I personally, my part of the consciousness wants to eat, but the other person does not. So those are examples of when it's not normal. When what they say is entirely unpredictable, or when there are way too many people arguing for it to just be you who's perpetrating all of this. And I know that with DID comes the constant sense of invalidation and the constant sense of self-doubt and everything, but you have to understand that these things cannot be made by the human mind. You cannot play 10 different parts, you cannot play 15 different parts of people who are arguing with you about something, or who are giving you advice on something, or who are trying to console you, or some people are trying to argue with you. This isn't normal. And this is when you need to talk to a specialized person. But when it comes to just having like 2-3 different people who are talking to each other, or just, you know that it's you know what the next thing that's going to be said is, like, that's when it's normal. But beyond that, like beyond like 3-4 voices, it's not normal anymore, and you have to seek professional help. I'm not saying that you definitely have DID, because it definitely is possible for you to split yourself into more than those parts, but I'd say to definitely get it checked out, and to see if there's something that you don't know about yourself at the time that might be causing this. It could be a mental illness like anxiety or depression, but it could also be DID. So yeah, but I hope that helped. Not again, but happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoy every single moment of Thanksgiving. I know we have to go back to school soon, which really sucks, but I wish you all the best of luck with your homework, with your families, because I know some of us have really bad relationships with our family. I know I do. I just wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you soon. Bye.